To empower individuals with type 2 diabetes in everyday life, it is important for them to know about the impact of different kinds of foods on their blood glucose and to find a way to provide individualized advice suitable for their needs. It is useful for patients with type 2 diabetes to know about macronutrition and how they can affect blood glucose and weight. Our food consists of 4 different groups of macronutrients that provide us with energy: carbohydrates, fats, proteins and alcohol. Let us take a look at the different macronutrients. Carbohydrates are mainly found in sugars, which are 100% carbohydrate, bread, cereal, rice, pasta, bulgur, potato, milk and fruit, and small amounts in vegetables. Vegetables and fruits provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants and dietary fiber. In a mixed meal plate, vegetables can replace other high carbohydrates and energy-dense sources of food, so preventing sharp rises in blood sugar levels after a meal, as well as high intake of calories. This can prevent weight gain or even help a weight loss. The recommendation is to eat 200 to 300 grams of fruit and at least 300 grams of vegetables a day. Carbohydrates have the highest impact on blood glucose levels since they are converted into glucose in the gut after ingestion. Normally, carbohydrates are converted into glucose, leading to a rise in blood glucose levels approximately 1.5 hours after ingestion. We divide carbohydrates into fast-acting, simple, and slow-acting, complex carbohydrates according to their glycemic index, depending on the time, faster or slower, that it takes for the carbohydrate to be absorbed as glucose in the blood. Slow-acting carbohydrates provide more stable blood sugars compared to fast-acting carbohydrates, which tend to give more fluctuating blood glucose levels. They are found in food like potatoes, parboiled brown rice, pasta, whole grain bread, bulgur, vegetables and legumes. Fast, simple carbohydrates include sugar and foods containing sugar like candy, ice cream, cake, jam, soft drinks and juices, and sugar that naturally occurs in our food, such as milk and fruit juices, as well as processed foods with low fiber content, such as bread made from fine flour, mashed potatoes, and breakfast cereals such as cornflakes. Dietary fiber is also carbohydrate, but fiber cannot be broken down into glucose in the gut. Fiber has many beneficial effects on health. Some dietary fibers help us lower blood glucose levels and stabilize blood sugar levels after a meal, while other types of dietary fiber reduce the risk of constipation and provide increased satiety. Dietary fibers is found in vegetables like broccoli, leeks, root vegetables, cabbage, rye bread, whole grain bread, legumes, whole grains, seeds and fruits. Fat does not affect blood sugar levels directly, but high-fat foods can slow down emptying of the stomach and so delay a rise in blood glucose levels. The types of fat you eat is reflected in the fat composition in your blood of essential triglycerides, fatty acids, fat-soluble vitamins and cholesterol levels. Fat in your food are classified as saturated or unsaturated fat. Saturated fat has negative effect on cholesterol levels in our blood. Saturated fats are found mainly in animal products such as fatty meats, sausages, fatty dairy products, cream, sour cream, cheese, butter, cake, biscuits, ice cream and chocolate. Unsaturated fat has a positive effect on cholesterol levels in your blood. Unsaturated fats are mainly found in vegetable oils such as canola oil and olive oil, almonds, nuts, avocados, olives and fish. We recommend limiting of sources and amounts of saturated fat in our food, since saturated fat increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases, while unsaturated fat can be beneficial for the cardiovascular system. Fat is the most energy-dense macronutrient, containing twice as many calories as protein and carbohydrates. Since fats also has a poor effect on satiety, it may be advisable to limit intakes of food high in fat if you want to lose weight or prevent overweight. Proteins are used to maintain many essential body functions. Proteins have no direct effect on blood sugar levels. Proteins appear to increase insulin response without increasing blood glucose levels, and they tend to provide increased satiety and might be useful in weight control. The long-term effects on excess intake of protein in people with diabetes are not fully known, so high-protein diets are not recommended. High-protein food are meat, fish, cold cuts, dairy products, cheese, eggs, and dried legumes. Alcohol contains almost the same amount of calories as fat and no essential nutrients. We recommend limiting or excluding alcohol from your diet. The knowledge about macronutrient can be boiled down to these key points for making healthy food choices. Eat a varied diet, limit portion size, and stay physically active to avoid being overweight. Eat many vegetables and some fruit. Choose whole grain instead of refined flour. Choose healthy unsaturated fat. Eat less food that is high in saturated fat. Eat food with less salt and sugar. Drink water and limit alcoholic drinks. Ensure food is eaten in a healthy way, for example raw, steamed, boiled or cooked with limited fat. Use the plate model to compose an appropriate meal. Eat only one plate in a meal and avoid excess intake of calories, and choose a plate size that fits your actual calorie requirement. As discussed previously, people who develop type 2 diabetes mostly tend to be elderly and have fixed habits that can be difficult to change. A way of helping these people to maintain an overview of which food items to choose when cooking or shopping for groceries could be to develop an app that contains the information on nutrition described in this lecture. Thank you for listening.